It kind of seems like a pretty random idea to have Barry Keoghan on a donkey with satchels full of laptops, throwing it around in a very rural place in a bygone era. But for us, it makes complete sense. We decided to come up with an idea that goes way back in time to a place where there's basically no technology, and to have what we call the Squarespace man spreading the good word that even in decades past, the same things are still relevant to any business owner. You need to be found and you need to be legitimized. We worked with Steve Rogers, who is someone that we've always been a massive fan of his work. He came back with some writing that definitely amplified what we were doing. And he had this saying, this has to be equal parts the beauty and the poetry of James Joyce with the madness and the humor of Monty Python. We also brought on a freelance Irish copywriter to make sure that everything that we were writing not only made sense, but sometimes didn't make sense on purpose. If you've ever read some of James Joyce, his work is that there's a beauty and there's a poetry to it, but there's also some words that just kind of go over your head. And in some ways, the writing for this was extremely important, but we also had this in a conversation that what if people didn't really understand a lot of this, and the only things they actually understand were the word Squarespace and website. And we were kind of like, maybe that's actually not a bad thing. We chose Barry Keoghan, who in some ways is an unorthodox fit in a Super Bowl campaign. The reason why we love Barry Keoghan for this is that he kind of comes off in a very natural way. And I think that's part to do with the fact that he isn't a trained actor. And there is a little bit of this naivete. We were hit with so many obstacles, from really strong winds to rain that had to close down the production for hours at a time. We had to move really quick, and he had to be really malleable to the fact that, hey, we might not spend too much time on this, and we're gonna have to feed you another line that we think actually works much better right now. He just wanted to do the best work, so he was a really good team player and came out with a couple of ideas for lines that were actually in the final edit. With any film that we create, we'll come up with the script, we'll storyboard it, we'll do a previs to actually time out every single shot, but all of that goes out the window until you're actually there. When you get to post-production, it's the same thing. There's certain lines that Barry delivers on camera that work, but then there's other shots that didn't work, so then we had to kind of ADR him and get VO without him saying it to camera. You're trying to figure out what is the best story that you can kind of string together. You're never gonna know if it really works or not. We're trying to do campaigns that leave an impression. So whether it's a tear, whether it's a little chuckle, or whether it's a you'll make some sort of emotional attachment to, so that the next time you're actually ready to build an online presence, that we're top of mind. Creativity and design at Squarespace is a first-class citizen. It is its own department. It reports straight into the founder and CEO. I owe that org design choice all the credit for the type of work that we're able to do. I think more organizations might want to look at.